Back to the streets of Miami. There are just 3 races remaining in the battle for the 2002 Trans Am Championship. Boris Said has won 5 races this year. Now he chases his first championship as a way to reward his team.
I like winning races. I mean, I'm not so concerned about a championship, but I would like to do it for them because they've, supported me the last couple of years, and it'd be a neat deal.
Butch Leitzinger has 3 wins on the season, and he has new life in the title hunt. This week, officials overturned a penalty, putting Butch right back in the race.
We're not out of it yet, and we have 3 races to go, and if I win all 3, maybe there's a chance that something could happen.
Paul Gentilozzi is a 3-time series champion with only 1 victory this year. He says nothing else than another title will work.
When you've won championships, anything less than that is a failure. So whether you finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th don't mean anything. You got to win. That's what counts.
For the first time in nearly a decade, the streets of Miami, Florida, reverberating with the sounds of V8 Thunder. The Trans Am Tour is back, part of the Grand Prix Americas. It's next here on Speed. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin, joined by Bill Adam. Great to be with you from the streets of Miami. The 10th race of the 2002 season, the championship hunt, very much alive as we look ahead to these last couple of races. But, Bill, this may be the most challenging place these drivers have seen all year.
Without question, it could be a major challenge because the track itself is so tight. So many corners compressed into this small distance that passing will be absolutely a nightmare. I don't know where they're going to get by, and it means that the cars have got to take a huge risk every time they pass. That may cost the contenders.
We've been to Long Beach, we've been to Three Rivers, we've been to Denver. Passing possible in all those places here, we're not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Talking about the championship hunt, Butch Leitzinger is back in it with 3 races to go. He's back up to 3rd. A controversial penalty was overturned by SCCA officials just a few days ago. For the latest on that, Calvin Fish on pit road.
Well, Rick, this whole story developed following Butch Leitzinger's 2nd place finish in Denver. When the car went through post-race tech, the Trans Am officials deemed that he was using an ignition box, which was not approved for the series. Well, they decided to throw him out of the event, lost him 28 points and $20,000 in prize money. Tom Gloy here from Tom Gloy Racing was livid about that decision. You appealed it, Tom. It was heard this week. What's the outcome?
Well, the outcome is that we got almost all our money and almost all our points back, Calvin. But more important than money and points is integrity and honesty. That's really what our appeal was about. We've been in this sport a long time, 30 years. And to be honest with you, that kind of a penalty and that kind of a cloud hanging overhead really couldn't be accepted. So I'm glad that we came out of it very well. We want to go in. Butch is going to take the Tommy Bahama car to the front. We're going to leave this behind us.
Okay, well, he gets 23 of those 28 points back. He's right back in the championship hunt. He's 3rd, 12 points behind Gentilozzi. He'll be a factor this afternoon. Rick?
And let's take a look at our starting lineup now. Because of the track conditions and the rain we've had earlier in the weekend, no times were taken, so the field lines up according to points. Points leader Boris Said will have the pole in the 33. Paul Gentilozzi's Rocket Sports Jaguar alongside in row 1. Butch Leitzinger has the Tommy Bahama 88 inside row 2 with Johnny Miller, one of the Rocket Sports Jags, in the 2nd row as well. Veteran Stu Hader from California starts 5th with Randy Ruman out of North Carolina in car number 49. He's Leitzinger's teammate. Tony Ave lines up 7th, and the Panos the 53. Mike Lewis in the Amerisuites Jaguar goes 8th. Starting 9th, Tommy Dreese from Hollywood, California in the 3rd Rocket Sports Jag. Simon Gregg from Florida, his Corvette is 10th. Starting 11th, Paul Fix out of Buffalo in a Jaguar. Ohio's Bob Ruman goes 12th in the 23 car. That's a Corvette. Starting 13th, Justin Bell is back at Jim Durhag's 40. Claudio Burton in one of the Panoses. That's car number 2. He starts in 14th spot. Going 15th, veteran Mike Davis, his Applied Computer Solutions Mustang. Don Stack out of Michigan has the 10 car starting 16th. Richard LaBarbera in the IUPAT car. That's a Mustang. He goes in the 9th row with Mike Cronin. His number 9 is a Corvette. The 10th row, George Diaz in the 91. That's a Jaguar. Luis Mendez's Mustang, the 68. And the final row, John Levy is back. He's a Floridian in the 18th car. And veteran Mandy Gonzalez in the 05. Let's check in on pit road. Here's Jan Beekes.
And you know, you talk street circuit, you have to talk Justin Bell. As we're getting close to the green here, remember, he won in Houston and was a player in Long Beach. He says the way to win these things, set up the car to save the rear tires.
Tire management, I think, will be very important today, Bill, on a circuit like this.
Well, I think it will, too, because one of the problems with the circuit is these guys are going over so many different types of pavement. They go from a smooth asphalt to a grippy one to concrete. Here we go. The fun is about to start.
100 miles of racing in the streets of Miami. Green flag is in the air. Gentilozzi in the blue Jaguar trying to get to turn one, but Boris will be on the inside. Leitzinger shoulders his way along, Paul, as they fight for second. Simon Gregg knocked off line there in the 59. Field starting to go single file. This is the tightest part of the track.
This is really a funnel down here, and particularly right here, watch the shine in the pavement. You'll actually see a reflection off some of the cars because this is a slick area. You can see in the middle, right along here, that's the concrete stretch they put in. Try and give them more.
We've got one car in the wall. That may well be Simon Gregg's 59. We saw him get bumped off line coming to the corner. He ended up in the tire barrier. We'll see if he can refire the car. And there's one of the back markers. I believe that's Mendez, who had to get on the brakes. Gregg in the 59 back underway, but there's body damage to the left front corner of the Corvette.
But you know what? Talk about a strong car. That really doesn't look badly deformed right now. Now, watch in the back of the frame, right up in this area here, and you're going to see him get pushed off line into that tire. There he goes, just pushing right out. Couldn't turn the car. Not enough grip on the tires.
His teammate Justin Bell almost caught up in it. That's the other orange and blue Corvette with the reverse paint scheme. So Simon is back underway. Points leader Boris Said is the leader. Coming to complete lap one. Jaguar has second and third spots. It's Gentilozzi in the 5, Miller in the 64. The Eaton Cutler Hammer AutomationDirect.com car. Johnny Miller right behind the team owner, Gentilozzi here. Johnny hasn't been to victory lane yet this year.
No, he hasn't. And his smooth driving may pay big dividends for him here because he has always had that reputation. He tends to be a car saver, and he's very nice with the car. Treats it well and really drives the car very well. One of the problems with the track is going to be any lapse in concentration. If you get offline, another tank.
4 cars stacked up.
Boy, they've got the curb blocked right there. That is turn 1.
John Levy trying to sneak through in the 18 car. That's the McGuire's number 9. One of the cars involved, Mike Cronin Jr. He gets refired. Look, George Diaz there in the 91 and the 05. That beautiful Corvette of Andy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Richard LaBarbera, there's the IUP-AT Mustang. Up front is Boris Said. Levy tucks in. Oh, in trouble for one of the Revolution Motorsports cars.
Again, the slippery part.
That's Don Sachs, number 10, spinning on the concrete patch.
It's so easy. Yesterday in the American Le Mans race, we saw cars just kind of tiptoeing through this area. Here's a replay of what happened.
And that was not Boris Said. That's the 11 of Mike Lewis. Got tangled up there.
How curious is that? It almost looked like he just came to a stop all by himself, as if it came out of gear or something. There you see Don Sachs getting loose, going into the corner. He was under braking. Now keep in mind, they are trying to go as hard as they can on relatively cold tires.
So Don Sack trying to spin the 10 car and get it pointed in the right direction. Calvin, pretty greasy out there after the kart champ cars did their thing earlier today.
Well, absolutely, Rick. And this racetrack is very low grip in the first place. Everyone has gone with the softer of the two options for the BFG tires, the BF Goodrich tires. They have a 200, which is the softer, 75 is the harder. Everyone's on 200s here looking for grip. So we don't expect any tire problems. They're really not generating enough side load to generate any heat in the tires. They should be good for the whole race distance, even if we have a lot of green. Same thing for brakes. No one's anticipating brake problems here, even though we're on a street circuit. Rick?
Backside of the racetrack, running order up top in our speed strip, and full course caution will be shown to the drivers. Working lap 3. The pits are closed. On board with Johnny Miller. He has to back out of the gas. He had a notion there to try to sneak around the boss, Gentilozzi, but saw the yellow and decided that would not be the place to do it. So it's early in the going on the streets of Miami. 10th race of the 2002 Trans Am season. Show you the top 10. We'll be right back. Today's coverage of the Trans Am Tour, the Grand Prix Americas of Miami, being brought to you by Amerisuites, the preferred hotel of the Trans Am Series. Back on speed in Miami, early in the going. 4 laps go on the board in the Trans Am event here. And it appears that the track situation has been a challenge all weekend long. We've got some pictures to show you of what's been done here. Back on Friday, Bill, this was in the turn 4, 5, and 6 area.
A lot of this new pavement just really didn't take because it was laid down in less than ideal conditions. There was a lot of rain, a lot of heat on and off. The track didn't cure, so what they did, they came in and overnight dug up a big section of that corner, laid in some concrete patches and tried some different asphalt. They even put down a ton of sealer. Normally this stuff works just about any place. Didn't work that well.
Now today the kart champ cars have run their event more holes developed at certain places in the surface, including at turn 16. So some quickcrete, some quick patch was put down just before the start of the Trans Am race. There's no way that cement would cure if you have to run over it. It could be very slick.
Yeah, it could indeed. And plus, if it breaks up, then you're leaving pebbles all over the track, and that's just one more thing. Then you could suffer a puncture as well.
So the field in single file ready for a restart. This will be lap number 5 of 73 when they come by to take the green. Boris Said has led all the way so far. The field lining up according to points as per Trans Am rules, because qualifying was rained out yesterday.
And look how close Gentilozzi is on his tail. He wants to try and take a shot at Boris every chance he can. Always on restarts, but Boris really got a strong start on that. Look at the lead he's got coming down here to turn 1.
8 car lengths the lead for Boris Said as we take a look out the back end of the ACS Panos.
You see the Jaguar closing up really closely, under braking, but again, Boris is able to get this Panos off the corner so well all year. I noticed that up at Prix Quebec.
Yeah.
The car was particularly good putting the power down.
Gentilozzi in the blue Jaguar. 3-car second. Bush Leitzinger moving to third around Johnny Miller with a good pass.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. I haven't seen anybody pass in that area before.
Now, Butch is so smooth and such a technician behind the wheel of the race. We've watched him for years. His rookie year in Trans Am, but he's far from a rookie. He's won 3 races as he's gotten back into third in championship points. And that was a pass. Stu Hainer going around the 64 of Johnny Miller to move to fourth. So Miller may be off the pace here.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe he just didn't get his mind back in the game early enough. But listen to the sound of the revs. It doesn't sound like... He sounds like he's pretty low in the RPM. He's got a problem for sure.
Randy Ruhlman in the 49. The PLP car will go by. That's the team car to Leitzinger. So Johnny Miller has troubles early. His winless streak apparently will continue. Bob Ruhlman drawing a beat on it there in the red, black, number 23, the Senwell Corvette. Justin Bell moving up from 13th, and Miller heads to pit road early. The AutomationDirect.com Eaton Cutler Hammer car.
One of the things I like so much about this sponsorship, from a driver's standpoint, if you have a car that is highly visible, it helps you get through traffic.
Yeah, Vika's standing by where Miller brings the car to a stop.
Yeah, we will watch this pit stop. No indication from the crew yet as to the problem. However, they're undoing the hood latches, which is related generally to an engine, obviously, but there's electronics under there as well. They're going to try and see if they see anything obvious. Oh, they've got one of the belts.
Oh.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Is that power steering, Jan?
Yes, it's power steering. I'm looking to see what else it runs.
So one of the accessory belts had come off the car.
Primarily power steering. Looks also like water pump, possibly. So, got to have that belt.
Miller has shut the car off. You wouldn't want to try to tackle a place like the streets of Miami without power steering today, though.
I don't know if I'd want to tackle the streets today anyway. It's hot enough and a difficult enough track. It's a big job. Butch Leitzinger was interesting. He tried to get up into second place right off the start and lost the gamble when Miller passed him. Now he's got a good clear shot at Gentilozzi. Let's see what his strategy is.
Leitzinger in the yellow Corvette. There's your leader, Boris Said. Gentilozzi second. Leitzinger is third. Stu Hainer charging. He's up to fourth. Calvin Fish. Fuel strategy is always an issue in the Trans Am Series. 100 miles of racing today on a very tight track. What are you hearing?
Well, you got 24-gallon fuel tank this year, Rick, and that typically means that you got to make a stop on a street course such as Long Beach. A lot of the guys thought they could almost make it, but here it is so slow. Most of the drivers are using a lot of second gear, high RPM. They're not getting good mileage. So we spoke to a bunch of the teams. We're getting really a number of like lap 25 to 30 before they can pit, get enough fuel into the car to make it to the checkered flag today. Let's go down to Jan Beekers.
About that fuel economy, Calvin, and there are 2 cars here that have injection for the engines as opposed to a carburetor, Tony Ave and Michael Lewis, notorious for getting the best fuel economy. Tony Ave has already made a pit stop to take on some fuel, so therefore you would think he should be done for the day.
I think that was a good move by Ave, too, because I noticed under the pace car, he had a huge bit of paper across the grill. Not just a minor blockage. It looked like 70 or 80% of that grill was blocked. So he could accomplish 2 things by making the mandatory stop and cleaning the grill so he's not going to overheat.
Meantime, we ride with Tommy Dreese in the Pyroware Jaguar, the 5 car. He is up to 7th, fighting with Michael Lewis ahead in the Amerisweets Jag for 6th. And here goes Dreese.
Wow, he hit him.
Contact on the front stretch.
Boy, oh boy, I don't think Lewis even saw him. That looked like a purely incidental move, but that could have been really serious because Dreese could easily have been forced into that wall.
There's a kink in the front straightaway here, as we pointed out yesterday. If you were with us for our coverage of the American Le Mans Series, it is not a truly straight shot. Meantime, for third, Leitzinger and the Tommy Bahama 88 trying to hold back Hayner. Look at how slick it is out there. Those cars are very loose.
Well, I think Hayner really is a lot faster right now. I think the Tommy Bahama car is actually holding him up.
Here's again that battle for position. The 12 has 6th spot. That's Mike Lewis. Dreesy trying to get by him to the 5. Dreesy had him and appeared on the front stretch a moment ago. Lewis moved over. They bumped. Everybody stayed straight, but the result was Dreesy had the door closed.
How appropriate. Dreesy has a new sponsor on the hood of the car called Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's a movie coming up. He is being a daredevil today. He looked really strong down the front straight. This is the tunnel section where they come up. Heavy braking here at the end. You'll see the Amerisweet car right ahead. Now, there he is under heavy braking. He'll swing left onto the front straight. And this is where Tommy Dreesy got such a great run last time. Not this time, I'm afraid. He is too far back to get a run at him under braking. You see a huge crowd off to the side as they come down the straight.
On the streets of Miami, one of the traditional Trans Am Tour venues. The series extremely popular here in South Florida. Several local drivers have joined the fun this weekend. Boris said leads in Miami. We'll be back. 13 laps complete, the Trans Am Tour on the streets of Miami. A reminder tonight at 7, the NASCAR edition of Speed News from our Charlotte studios. And then Speed News Sunday at 7:30 Eastern. Dave Despain anchoring tonight. Full coverage, of course, of the Kart FedEx Champ Cars, NASCAR at Talladega, and Trans Am Tour at American Le Mans here in Miami, and a whole lot more. NASCAR edition of Speed News at 7 Eastern tonight. Speed News Sunday at 7:30, only here on Speed. Boris said only here on Speed, and he's speeding away from the rest of the field. In that Paynos, the Applied Computer Solutions 33. Boris, the points leader, going for his 6th win in 10 starts this year. It's been by far Boris's best season at Trans Am.
It has been a very dominant performance all year long, and he's done it on a variety of tracks. The high-speed sweepers at Mosport, now to the slow-speed point and squirt track at Miami. He really has driven this car very well, and credit to his crew. They've been able to set that car up so it's been competitive every place.
Paul Gentilozzi circulating in second spot. Calvin Fish talked to Paul this morning. He said, hey, I've got the fastest race car in the place. He hasn't really shown that so far.
Well, I think some of that is down to the nature of the racetrack this afternoon. We had that kart race. Turns 3 through 6 are treacherous once again. To give you an indication how slow the racetrack is, this morning Paul ran a 1:11.4 in the morning warm-up. Right now there are only 2 guys dipped down into the 13-second bracket, so they're full 2 seconds off that pace, and they're really having to tiptoe their way through those turns. A lot of the drivers have said it's like driving in the rain when you go through that part of the racetrack. You have to be patient, you have to be careful. One mistake and you could be in the fence.
And I was going to say, Bill Adam, that there are drivers here who seem to be using a rain-type line in some parts of the course.
Well, it actually wouldn't hurt you too much, because sometimes when you're getting over that piece of pavement that is so highly polished, it's as Calvin said, that there is almost no grip at all, and you can run whatever tire you want. It just isn't going to help you. It's like if you scare a cat on a marble floor, that thing just sits and scratches its way all down to China, but it isn't going to move very fast.
Tom Bell Chevrolet, the turn forging car of Stu Hayner. Yorba Linda, California. Stu up to 4th in the O2. He has put together a very fine year. They're trying to close in on Butch Leitzinger for 3rd spot in Tom Bloy's Tommy Bahama car.
This is going to be difficult for Stu as well, also, because one of the difficulties in following a car that closely is he is going to overheat his own motor and his own brakes. He's not getting the same airflow in there that Butch Leitzinger would.
Watching Randy Ruhlman, the Freeform Line Products 49. That is a Chevrolet Corvette, also from the Tom Bloy stables, Butch Leitzinger's teammate. Ruhlman, a great series veteran, having one of his best years ever. Up to 5th, had a great run at Trois-Rivières here on Speed back in August.
He did.
Mike Lewis in car number 12 for 6th position. Tommy Dreesy right behind him in the number 5 Jaguar. They've been going at it in a very heated fashion for the last 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, they have not been separated by more than a couple of car lengths at any point. And Dreesy still trying to find a way by, but Lewis does drive so smoothly. He's using up all of the track, and well, there's a little wiggle out of his car. As I said, smoothly. Gave him that jinx right there. Sorry, Mike. Oh, here he goes.
Dreesy.
Boy. Wise move. Tommy had the choice there. He could easily have nudged Mike on that left rear quarter panel, made him wiggle a little bit, lose the throttle. He did not want to take a chance on it, so that was a bit of class driving.
Still a long way to go. We've put 15 laps up on the scoreboard of 73 today. So these drivers know they have quite a distance yet to run. And I would think Dreese knows, hey, if it's the last 3 or 4 laps, you might make a move like that. Here, it's probably too early. Now, how about Justin Bell in car number 40? Missed several races when his team didn't have the funding they were expecting. He's back with us this weekend. Justin up to 9th. He had dropped to 13th in the season standings after nearly winning at Long Beach to open the season. He was part of that epic 3-way battle with Gentilozzi and Boris Said. It's good to see Justin Derek Son back in the hunt here in the 40 car. He's gained 5 spots in the early going, now up to 8.
He may not have been in the race car for a while, but he's been practicing probably at his own driving school.
Well, you know, we talked about the fact that he is a street circuit specialist and the way they set up the car. The good news is, you said he was gone for 3 races. He will be back for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, today, because they were gridded by championship points, he had to start 13th. So he's got his work cut out for him. You've talked about how he's moved forward. They also expect him to be one of the first cars here on pit road, an early pit stop strategy.
Justin closed his rookie Trans Am season last year, winning the last couple of races, and started this year off, as we said, with a bang at Long Beach. He was right in it up until the last couple of corners, but he and Boris Said basically used up too much racetrack, and it opened the door for Paul Gentilozzi to score the win.
They thinned each other's cars somewhat.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Justin does have a third and most for it after the late race contact at Long Beach. The 40 car suffered a little body damage, and he did not run in the top 3 as they came to the line. He didn't finish, but he was 6th if memory serves. Dreese there in that black Jaguar, still holding Justin Bell off for the moment. There's Paul Fix out of Buffalo.
Spin.
One of the Jags has gone right. I think that's George Diaz, possibly. Oh, that's Dreese. Tommy Dreese and the Daredevil Pyroware 5 has gone around.
Oh, trying to get under the throttle probably just a little bit sooner, trying anything he can.
Terrific guy from California. Really enjoy visiting with him along the Trans Am Tour. And now he will try to find a gear and get that car underway.
Good job.
He was 7th at the time of the spin. Gives up a lot. Oh, and another spin. Oh, that looks like perhaps the car of Mendez. It is the 68 of Luis Mendez.
Now, this may bring out a full course caution unless he can get that car off the wall.
That is right at the entrance to the front stretch. That's right on turn 16 as the cars, he's really almost in the line there, Bill. Most of the guys, as they come into that last corner, want to be way high.
Right, and you can see right there that the car isn't really embedded in the wall, so I think the damage is fairly light. But if he can't move it, they certainly have to get that car off there, because as other cars are coming in under braking, if any of them ever made nose-to-nose contact, potentially could be very dangerous.
This is the end of a very long racing weekend here. The Grand Prix America's inaugural running on this new course. Probably the only time we'll see this particular course. And what he talked that the track will change for next season. Justin Bell on the pit road. Jan Bikas is there.
And, of course, we wonder now whether we'll get a full course caution, because this is something he wanted to do. He wanted to take on fuel early. This will be a good strategy if there is a full course caution. So they're rolling the dice, as we said.
Well, you know what? I like that roll, too, Jan. I think that was a really heads-up move there by that whole team. The Mustang of Luis Mendez is still parked against the fence. And, yes, a full course caution is coming out, so that is perfect.
Bell and his car owner, Jim Durhak, certainly timed that perfect.
Well, sometimes you're the bug and sometimes you're the windshield, and
better to be lucky than good sometime.
That's a good one today.
The Durhak Motorsports crew high-fiving, pretty darn pleased with the way this has turned out in the early going. So the full course caution is being shown the field. The Trans Am Series on the streets of Miami. We'll have more on speed in a moment. Some call this the Monaco of North America. Great place to come racing. First time in nearly 10 years that the Trans Am Tour has been on the streets of Miami. It's been a great weekend so far. The crowds have been huge. What a pretty venue for racing. Full course caution for an incident coming to turn 16. Several of the leaders have been on pit road. The other cars deciding to stay out. Butch Leitzinger, one of the cars. Paul Gentilozzi stopping as well while we were away. As the fuel was going in, there was a near miss. Gentilozzi and Butch very tight to get off of pit road. To Calvin Fish.
Well, the teams are really doing their sums, Rick, to figure out if they could get to the checkered flag by topping the tanks up at this point. Tom Gloy and Buddy Fay here engineering this car. They were really concerned that they got enough gas to get it to the fuel. They think they'll be okay, but that was really tight when Gentilozzi sped down pit lane and just got by Butch Leitzinger. What was the story there, Jan?
Well, for Paul Genealosi, they took on, it appeared to me, enough fuel to get the thing filled back up to make it to the end. But as you said, it was a great pit stop, and they almost picked up that spot. And of course, when you get a little bit of extra speed on pit road, you try to capitalize on it. But with a pit speed limit, it gets very dicey at the pit exit.
Boris Said is still the leader. Green flag back in the air on lap 20. Stu Hainer staying on the racetrack. He's up to second now in the Trent Forging Chevrolet, the 02. Third belongs to Mike Lewis. Paul Fix is next in line. That's George Diaz. Miller, who had that earlier problem in that long pit stop, well, he's lost several laps. He is not at the hunt. He's back in 16th with Justin Bell, who stopped early, remember, and took on fuel a few moments ago. Well, he's up in the standings. Justin Bell has gained ground to 7th. This is Mike Davis, Boris Said's team owner in the Sun Microsystems ACS number 11. He spun against the Mustang Refired. He's back underway.
Yeah, probably just cold tires. You see him again just pushing a little bit wide in the corner there. Not a lot of grip. He's turning the wheel. The car is won't respond. I'm going to be really interested to see what Stu Hainer can do in this situation, because he was all over the back of Butch Leitzinger, and it looks like he's really taking a run at Boris now.
One of the short straightaways here, heading toward the final couple of corners. Third belongs to Lewis. Fourth to Paul Fix. Calvin Fish, some unusual fuel strategy being worked by a couple of the teams.
Well, especially the leader. Boris has really been an advocate of pitting as early as you can to maintain that track position, even if there's a yellow. But their key number was lap 28, and the man who makes that decision is Joe Huffaker. He builds these engines. He's been a long-time entrant in Trans Am, had a lot of success, and they've finished on the podium every race this year. Great engines. And not only that, Joe can drive as well. He just won his 8th national championship at the SCCA runoffs just a couple of weeks ago. We're going to be showing that on speed in the next few weeks.
Very talented guy. Ran a Mini Cooper for several years. That may well have been what he used to win yet another championship at the runoffs out of Mid-Ohio several days ago. Morris in the 33 is the points leader. He's led all the way so far here at Miami, but here comes Hainer.
Well, you saw the difference right there. Stu Hainer got a little bit offline, and suddenly his car skated over like a full car width right there. Almost no grip, but thankfully that was one of the spots where the track is wide enough. It didn't really cost him a lot. This area down through here, too, is so difficult. You can see right there that he was going across a concrete patch. Levels of grip changed so much right down there.
On board with Boris, taking a look back at the white Corvette of Hainer. Heading north at Paul Genealosi, second in series points, who was running second before that pit stop. You saw the near miss. He and Butch Leitzinger trying to hurry and get off pit road, beat one another out of the pits. Paul's being black flagged this time around for speeding on pit road, so he'll have to come in for a stop and go penalty. Genealosi 8th after the stop, but he'll lose more track position.
Oh, is that going to Fred? There it is right there being shown to him. This will just make Paul seethe in the cockpit.
The top of number 3 for Genealosi out of the Rocket Sports shops. Meantime, Morris said with his mirrors full of the 02, Stu Hainer right behind him now.
Stu is always so fast on street circuits.
Yes.
It's just one of those things that he really likes them. Once again, dramatically different lines through that corner.
Stu is very smooth. He really takes care of the race car and the tires.
Look how precise Stu is. This is one of the difficult things. And for years, I used to watch Stu up at Three Rivers, Quebec, driving a similar situation. A lot of tight channels running through the areas. And he's very much at home putting the car through those things.
Yeah. Driving instructor himself. Got a glimpse there a moment ago of the split between first and second over the last couple of laps. Last time by, Hainer had cut it down inside half a second. We'll see what it is this time as the two lead cars come up out of the front stretch.
Kind of interesting, too, watching that camera at the back, and you see the ebb and the flow that two cars and two drivers are always going to have their own favorite points of the track. One may pick up a little bit and one may lose a little bit.
Paul Fix has got in the wall. That's the 77, the Royal Purple Jag. He's bent up some of the body work on that car.
And that is on the front straight. Again, a wide area. He should be able to get turned around.
Yellow being shown in the area. Claudio Burton, Simon Gregg on the brakes. Fix will try to get the car spun correctly around, but we're going to get a full course caution yet again here at Miami. 24 laps, 73 the distance, and the double yellows being shown the field as they come off the final corner. Fix gets the car turned. These parts of the racetrack not very wide here in Miami. Here's another look at it as they go off the final turn. That's Diaz in the 91. Looked as though Fix just got too much on the gas too soon, Bill. The rear end got away from him.
It's exactly all it was. I mean, that easy. On any other track, you get pretty good grip. But here, you say goodbye.
So Paul Fix, the Royal Purple 77, is back underway with a lot of body damage. He may be headed to pit road. We'll find out next. Welcome back to the streets of Miami here on Speed. Coverage of the Trans Am Series, the 10th round of the 2002 season, with Bill Adam, Ibrecht Benjamin, Calvin Fish, and Jan Bikus on pit road. While we were in break, the leader, Boris Said, decided to make his pit stop with the 33 car. And Billy's given up a lot of track position with that stop.
He has. And the one guy who has gambled a lot is Stu Hainer, who is still in the lead without making a pit stop yet. So I think what they're doing is pretending that there are going to be a whole bunch of yellows here, and they know for sure they are. Big gambles.
Here's the stop by the 33 car. Boris came in while he was leading. They had tires out, but the green flag is flying once again. We're back underway. Boris fueled the car and came right back out, but Hainer is your restart leader. He hasn't yet stopped. That's Diaz in the 91. He spun. Lewis had problems, but he is up to third right now. Calvin Fish, what happened when Boris came to pit road? And we'll get to Calvin in a moment as we ride on top of one of the ACS cars.
Calvin likes to keep secrets.
There is contact. The McGuire's Corvette, the 9 car, Mike Cronin Jr., he spun. Gets the car pointed in the right direction. Looked as though Boris might have gotten into Cronin as they were running back around 10th and 11th.
The word it has gone. Now, I wonder if somebody is thinking about giving Boris a stop and go for that tag.
Tony Ave in the 53 trying to go inside Mike Lewis. This time, Lewis clipped the car that was challenged.
Well, now that's Mike Lewis's second incident of contact. Remember Tommy Dreesy down the front straight? That was the first one. And there really, again, he did nothing wrong because the Panos was not nearly alongside far enough to be challenging for the corner. So Mike did not have to give him any more room.
Justin Bell in the 40 car made a pass there as well, getting by Ave there. Sorry.
The downside is that I think Tony has lost that right front winglet on the corner of the car. Yes, it is gone.
And here comes Paul Gentilozzi. He has to serve his penalty now under green flag conditions. Work goes on Paul Fix's car after that spin and wall slap a few moments ago. Here comes the Johnson controls. Futaba 3 for Gentilozzi. And we come to the penalty box for the stop and go.
I love the looks of these Jaguars.
Calvin Fish.
Paul Gentilozzi comes down here 35 miles an hour. He's going to be smoking. The man who had to stand in his way there is Smokey. He's the Trans Am official. I'm not sure I'd want this job. You got really drivers who are not very happy when they come down this end, and they're going to give it a big Smokey burnout, so it's probably an appropriate name for him.
Well, you know that Paul Gentilozzi is not happy with being penalized. We've got to look now at what happened and what caused the penalty to be called on Gentilozzi. Watch Leitzinger in the yellow 88 car, the Tom Gloy, Tommy Bahama car. Here's Gentilozzi. His pit stop finished. They nearly get together, and Paul was found to have been in excess of the pit road speed limit heading toward the exit.
He appeared to be going a little bit quick.
Stu Hainer, meantime, takes advantage of all the skirmishing behind him. He takes the Don Sack Trent Forging Chevy out to a good lead now.
Yeah.
It's 3 seconds over George Diaz.
And a little while ago, we were talking about lap times, how they have been very slow, and suddenly Stu runs a 1 minute and 12-second lap. So he is the quickest car on the track right now, partly because he's got the clear track in front, but also he is just a very fine driver, and this car is well set up right now.
Watching the 0-2 of Hainer in the lead, thinking back to Memorial Day weekend at Lime Rock. Bill, you and I were there. Hainer nearly won that race without a fuel stop. The engine let go in the car with less than 5 to go. He was the only driver who was going to try to do it that day.
Yeah, I think that still wins the Heartbreak of the Year award from my standpoint. He was so close and had driven just a perfect race to have it taken away from that close to the end.
Ronnie O'Burton there in car number 2. One of the Panos is in the field. He's 14th. Hainer closing in on him to put him a lap down. Comes Diaz in the Haviland Jaguar, the number 91.
And you know what? He is having a great race. We haven't really talked very much about George, but 19th on the grid, currently running second. He, too, has not made a pit stop. He is one of only 3 cars at this point. Stu Hainer, Diaz, and Mike Lewis that haven't stopped. But credit to him because he's running very quick lap times, only a little bit slower than Hainer. Should a pace car come out or a yellow flag, all of a sudden the gap goes away again.
He did have an incident earlier in the race, and he has fought back from that. Now Mike Lewis from 8th to 3rd. Lewis has made the 12 car very wide a couple of times here today, keeping guys from getting by him. Tony Ave a few moments ago got a winglet knocked off the 53 car as he tried to go to the inside of Lewis in a corner. And how about Justin Bell? 13th, he is 4th, and remember, he stopped very early at Jim Durham Chevrolet. He took on fuel in the first caution.
Yes, we talked about the value of that. I thought they hit that right on the head. You talk about a perfect bit of time. Justin and the guys from Jim Durham really nailed that one, and it's come back to pay, I think, the biggest dividend of the race so far. He's running very quickly. He's up the inside. Here he goes. That's a nice clean pass.
They lap Burton in the 2 car and set sail. Oh, in trouble for Tommy Dreese. Spun again. Dreese in that Daredevil Pyroware Jag, the 5 car. He gets it punted in the right direction. He was trying to work on Boris Said deep in the field. They were 9th and 10th. Dreese has several cars go by him before he can get up to speed.
And just take a look at the shine of the pavement as they're driving over this. You know it's pretty bad when you're looking at asphalt and you can see a reflection of a car.
Polished like a mirror in certain places.
Oh, it is.
Rear body work flapping on the 5 car. He may have to come to pit road.
Well, I hope he knows.
Understand that Dreese got into the wall on the front straightaway, which may have caused all of this. Here's another look as they come off of turn 16. Boy, did he get loose there.
Oh, boy, he really slammed that wall.
Just missed the tire barrier and drilled the outside wall as he was on the gas, nearly collecting Boris Said, the series points leader. So Dreese, with bodywork flapping, may well have to come back to pit road. Hayner leads. Diaz is 2nd. Lewis, Bell, and Ave. Butch Leitzinger is 6th in line in the 88 car. 31 laps of 73 are complete in Miami. Welcome back to the streets of Miami. Coverage of the Trans Am Tour here on Speed. Coming up tonight at 8 Eastern, NASCAR Victory Lane. All the information you need after Talladega today and a whole lot more. John Roberts and the gang. Our Charlotte studios tonight at 8 Eastern, NASCAR Victory Lane, only here on Speed. Watching race leader Stu Hayner in the Trent Forging Chevrolet put another lap up on Claudio Burton's 2 car. Hayner started 5th out of Yorba Linda, California. He has not yet pitted. He's taken advantage of a lot of action on and off the track on pit road. Take a look at a couple of things that happened in the last few moments. Here's Justin Bell working by George Diaz to take away 3rd spot. Moments before that, Boris Said, who started on the pole, led the first 25 or so laps today. Made a great move on Butch Leitzinger coming through turn 16 to the front straightaway to retake a spot. Boris is now up to 5th in front of Tony Ave. Hayner, meantime, has built about a 10-second lead over Mike Lewis, who got to 2nd. Justin Bell is 3rd. Calvin Fish, Hayner has not yet stopped. Are we going to see him try to go all the way again like he did at Lime Rock back on Memorial Day?
Well, he almost made it there. He had an engine problem towards the end of that race, but I don't think so. I keep checking in with the team. They're really keeping their cards close to their chest, but they're saying about lap 52, they have to bring him in, otherwise they'll be close to running out. So they need an awful amount of yellow to really get him to the finish, but they believe if they get a caution, that would be the time to bring him in, just as some of the other leaders did. So they're praying for yellow. I don't think they can make it all the way.
So that would leave him about 20 laps short, Bill Adam, probably about 30, 35 miles of racing short today on the fuel side. And Hayner really is taking quite a gamble here as we watch some of the cars. That's Burton way offline. There's Mike Lewis. Now, he's gotten past. There's Justin Bell behind him. And here comes Boris Said. He started on the pole. Boris shown in 5th position as they come down the front stretch. Right in front of it, George Diaz there in the 91. Take a ride here with Boris in the ACS Panos. He's the series points leader. 5 victories in the first 9 rounds of the championship this year. This is the 10th race. Boris had the advantage of starting on the pole. He did stop fairly early. Talking about Hayner's strategy, Bill, usually it doesn't work out if you try to wait and make your fuel stop late in the race.
No, it doesn't. But the one strategy that I really do like talking about waiting, and that's Mike Lewis. We've seen him this year really get good mileage out of his Jaguar. And once again, he's running a very strong 2nd place. He's running really quick lap times. Can he do it? I don't know. That might be my question mark of the day.
Boris Said has moved back to 4th spot after his stop. He has got 5. George Diaz in the 91. There's Lewis. Moving up behind Mike Davis in the 11. Lewis in the Amerisweets Benihana Jaguar. Jan Beekes, what are you hearing from Lewis's camp? What are they planning to do on fuel?
Well, Bill said it was the question of the day. The answer to that question is they need 14 laps of yellow to make it to the end without a pit stop. Well, we've already had 7. They said, you know what, if we get 3 more laps of yellow, we might roll the dice and go for it. So they will not pit until they absolutely have to, but they do have a shot at making it all the way.
I like that a lot. I think that's a really good gamble, and the chances are they could just as well get those laps of yellow.
Watching Lewis in the Ameriswede's car running second. He is 14 seconds behind race leader Stu Hainer, but it could be a gamble on fuel. Former champion Tommy Kendall. They're saying TK forever here in Miami.
A vandal.
It's been 8 years since the fans here in Miami have been able to enjoy the Trans Am Tour on the streets of Miami. But the wait is over. A terrific weekend of racing here in Miami, being capped off by the Trans Am Series running the Grand Prix Americas. And for second spot, a three-way battle. That's Lewis in the blue and white Jag, the 12 car. Justin Bell is third, right behind him in the 40. And Boris Shed in the 33, the early leader and pole sitter. He's back to fourth after making his stop.
It's a fan's dream. I mean, you can pick the car that you hope for. You want a Jaguar, a Corvette, or a Panos. You cheer for that car. They're all driven very well. All three drivers very experienced. They're all smooth in the car. I think maybe Justin Bell has got the greatest incentive to win.
Trouble for Mike Cronin's McGuire's Chevrolet. He has stopped in one of the corners offline.
Yeah, safely out of the way, so I don't think that'll be a problem. I was about to say maybe Justin Bell has the greatest incentive because his driving school is local. Anytime you get a chance to win at home, it just gives you that much more incentive to get out there and stick your foot in a little bit earlier.
Board with Boris Shed through the fountain area. Backstretch is short here. Left-hander to take you down the last run to the front straightaway in Miami.
And this is where Boris made that great pass a little bit earlier. Just stuck up the inside. And then see, now Justin's, no, there he goes.
Boris to the inside, going for third, and he's got him.
That's exactly it.
Boris is able to throw that Panos around. Full course caution coming out, we're being told. Perhaps for the 9 car of Cronin. We showed you the car stopped in one of the turns a few moments ago. There's the double yellow flag being shown from the flag stand here on the front straightaway.
Well, at full course caution, I'd watch for everybody diving for the pits right now. Stu Hainer, Mike Lewis, I bet money they'll come in. Well, maybe not. Maybe Mike Lewis now. Remember his laps.
Yeah. We will see. They were talking about a few more laps of caution might give them enough opportunity to try to roll the dice and go all the way without a fuel stop. Here's Hainer, the race leader in the 0-2. Now, he had built almost a 20-second lead over Mike Lewis before the full course caution, depending on whether Hainer decides to stop for a splash of fuel or not now.
And let's see, it's just off this corner. If Stu comes directly towards us, no, he's not. He's continuing on. That's a bit of a surprise. Pits are closed.
This car waiting to pick up Stu Hainer, the race leader, and that will be the opportunity for SCCA Pro Racing to open the pits. George Diaz there in the 91 had gotten as high as second out of Puerto Rico in that Haviland Jaguar. Diaz, really a good story. He's a rookie driver. This is just his third start this year. Had an 11th at Cleveland, then a 20th at Washington. Obviously likes the temporary circuits.
See the pace car there trying to wave George by. He's not really sure what to do. Doesn't want to get a penalty for passing the pace car, realizing that it's the proper thing to do in this situation.
He is on the lead lap being shown at 9th, so he can go around and close up to the back of the pack. And the safety car has picked up Hainer as the race leader. There's the 9 car of McGuire's machine, and Mike Cronin still stopped. As part of the race weekend festivities, a lot has gone on here in Miami. Drivers taking the time in many cases to go out and enjoy themselves, do something a little different from the norm. Bill Adam talked about Justin Bell running his driving school here in the Miami area. Justin hosted some of his compatriots at the Benihana a couple of nights ago. That's Tommy Dreese and Mike Lewis.
I may go to Justin's driving school. I don't think I'd necessarily want to go to his cooking school.
A little instruction being given on how to take care of the cooking duties at Benihana.
That looked pretty good. Thank you.
When you see him handle the utensils here, Mike Lewis obviously the most skilled of the three.
Well done. Tommy pretty good there. That was the 3-point tongue catch.
Justin said, I'm not even going to try that.
That's the part that I'm good at. Careful what you cut off there, Mike.
Justin hoping that no one would see that. Watch this. Tommy Dreese trying not to injure himself Friday night. Stu Hainer, the race leader, heads to pit road. He says, we can't make it. We'll take this opportunity under caution to grab some fuel. Try to go all the way from here. 48 laps are on the board. This will be lap 49 as the field goes by. 73, so there'll be 24 trips remaining. get Hayner back off of pit road. Calvin Fish.
Well, Stu Hayner comes in, and I'm not really sure this strategy has worked for these guys. There's a rule in place where they don't open the pits until the leader gets behind the pace car, and really that's to help the leader of the race. But in this case, it's really hurt Stu Hayner because there's been a backup. He now goes back up and lost a lot of track position, Bill.
I agree with that totally, Calvin. I think that they've just blown it by doing that. I mean, it's one of these things. He is now stuck behind so many cars that even if he does get the benefit of a yellow coming out, he can't close up on the leader. He's still behind a whole bunch of cars.
So Hayner comes up onto the racetrack, still under caution. We will take the opportunity for a quick timeout. Plenty of action as the Trans Am Tour returns to Miami. Boris said the championship leader was the pole sitter, one of a few drivers to stay out of trouble so far today. Coming up on 20 laps to go on the streets of Miami. The Grand Prix Americas, the Trans Am Tour. 10th race of 12 to settle the 2002 championship. Mike Lewis is the restart leader of the Amerisweets Jag. Points leader Boris said right on his tail. Justin Bell, Paul Gentilozzi, who served a penalty and has stopped next in line. Boris going for the lead in one. Johnny Miller not on the lead lap there in the 64, but he is worrying Justin Bell. He needs to get out of the way and let the boss, Gentilozzi, get by. Here's Boris. Forcing Lewis offline to take the lead back.
I think there's a little bit of a nudge going into that corner right there. Mike Lewis really has to be careful. Oh, another nudge.
Johnny Miller with some contact there with Justin Bell. Here's Lewis trying to come back on Boris. Boris said wasting no time to try to get the lead back. It was far and away the quickest car in the field, and here comes Bell.
Justin cleanly. Oh, no.
Contact. Lewis gets butted. 4 cars stack up. Butch Leitzinger is in there. Remember, he was still in the championship picture, and Simon Gregg nearly gets into him. Mike Davis, Gentilozzi is involved.
Just bedlam at the far end of the track. Mike Lewis's race has just gone away right there that fast.
Lewis was operating, we believe, on a no-stop strategy because of the long caution period. It appeared that he'd be able to go all the way without stopping.
And I think there's damage to the car right there. It looks like that fender.
So Johnny Miller heads to pit road. Butch Leitzinger will stay on the racetrack, and we're back under full course caution after heavy contact coming off the restart.
Well, what a disappointment for Mike Lewis, Esther. He has driven virtually a perfect race. Yeah, he does. Really heavy damage on the front, and the rear has also been broken.
He may have a tire down, among other problems. He's got at least one tire down, the left rear. Bodywork is loose. Now, all that can be taped back in place. Here comes Gentilozzi to pit road. He's got severe damage to the 3 car. And this may pave the way for Boris Said to take a huge step toward his first Trans Am championship, because his 2 prime contenders fighting him, Butch Leitzinger and Gentilozzi, both were involved in that stack up of cars.
Well, right now, Mike Lewis is going to be thinking about trying to go find that sushi knife he was using at the beginning. Now watch Boris's pass just as he comes into the corner. Just right there, you see the back of Mike's car just go a little bit forward. Just a very light tap. That's all it took. Now Mike tried to stay very cool and calm.
Right off the restart this was. Here's another look. Boris is gone. Here's Bell going for second. Lewis
Justin up the inside
again.
And Tommy Dreese also tried to follow Justin through.
Johnny Miller, actually.
Johnny Miller, 64. I'm sorry. Johnny tried to follow Justin through, just didn't get a chance of making it. The Amerisweets Jaguar was closing out. Here he goes, right there.
Now, from the driver's perspective, Bill, as we watched from Miller's AutomationDirect.com Jaguar, is that a case of Lewis doing what I thought he had done earlier, cutting across the nose of the 64 rather than giving him enough room?
Yes, he did.
Calvin Fish, he's with Mike Lewis.
Well, Mike just takes his helmet off here. Severe damage to the Amerisweets car here on the left-hand side. Mike's going to try and jump out here. Mike's got a quick word with you. I know you're frustrated, mate. What exactly happened out there?
Well, I just got beat up, you know. I know it seems to be okay if everyone does it except me. And then I get called into black like Road America for doing basically nothing. And these guys, you know, first Boris, you know, that's borderline. And then Johnny Miller just nailed me. I don't know. We had the right strategy. We had a good car. And they wanted to get by before everything got warm, and they couldn't brake. And, you know, they're supposed to know that.
All right, well, obviously very frustrated. Let's go down to Jan.
And Paul Gentilozzi has climbed from his car, not able to fix the damage. What happened in your case?
Fools.
fools. Guys who weren't drivers, they were fools. If they had a bad race car, why would they wreck in front of the whole field? It's embarrassing when that happens. I mean, when you go green and you don't have a car, the last thing you do is do a tank slapper in front of everybody and cause a wreck. Unnecessary, ruined a shot at the championship.
Specifically, what move was the one that precipitated your contact?
I don't know what happened between the 88 or between Mike Lewis and Johnny Miller. Mike Lewis was holding everybody up. He was mad because Boris got by him, and he didn't have a car, and then he charged back and obviously got out of shape. When I saw him, he was going both directions. Next thing I know, him and Johnny are piled in together, and he stopped right in front of me.
And as you heard him say, his championship hopes are gone.
Wow, less than 20, 18 laps remain. Good crowd on hand on the streets of Miami. It's been a wild one so far, and Boris said we'll have the restart lead when we come back. Back in Miami, coming up 16 laps to go, getting set for another restart after a wild incident on the backside. Boris said Justin Bell, Randy Ruhlman, and Stu Hainer are the top four. Fifth belongs to Butch Leitzinger, who was able to stop without making contact in that incident that took out Mike Lewis and Paul Gentilozzi, among others. And we're back underway, down into one.
And I think two people to watch right here. One is Stu Hainer right in the back of Randy Ruhlman's car. We saw early in the race, Stu had a very strong race car. Let's see if he can do anything to get around Randy at this point. Randy is there through good... Oh, there goes Stu, right up the inside of him, that quickly.
Hainer with a great move to get by Ruhlman in the Preform Line Products car. Leitzinger now is stuck behind the 49. So Hainer to third spot. Remember, he led 23 laps before having to stop for fuel under an earlier caution.
Now, Boris says he only break away from the Corvette plan here because the Panos is leading, but Justin, Randy, Stu Hainer, Butch Leitzinger all driving Corvettes following.
Leaders around the fountain on the backside, Bayside portion of the circuit here in Miami. Boris said your leader in the purple car. There's the car of Ruhlman, the yellow Tommy Bahama car next in line. Butch Leitzinger steering the 88 into fifth. Justin Bell in second.
Something sorry, Rick, I was just going to say something that's impressed me so much all day long is Boris's ability to get back on the throttle so fast. He's just very, very good when the green comes out.
A few years ago, Bill, when you and I were watching Boris in his first really strong foray into Trans Am when he was driving for Jack Roush, he'd win some races, but he wrecked the car quite often. It's very smooth.
He sold a lot of pieces, that's for sure.
Stu Hainer in the 02 meantime, worrying Justin Bell for second spot. Really pressing it now. This is the toughest part of the track. Very narrow and very slick because of the sealer here.
Okay, see, look at that, Stu. Very almost in one long slide all the way around that polished surface. Amazing. Stu again, big power slide coming off that corner. This is so difficult. You're trying to get the power down as early as possible. You want to try and get as much maximum acceleration going forward, not going sideways. But the car just tries to step out on you every time you touch the throttle.
Turn 11 and 12, backstretch portion of the circuit here in Miami. On board with race leader Boris said. The light blue and orange 40 car from Jim Durham Chevy team. That's Justin Bell back at the saddle. Missed 3 races earlier this year due to a brief lack of funding. They have secured funding now for the rest of the season. You see Justin back, and he's done a marvelous job today in the 40. But he may be holding up Stu Hainer, who may have the only realistic shot of tracking down the points leader, Boris said. 13 to go. Here comes Hainer to the inside of Bell for second. He's got him. Stu Hainer to second in the 02.
Wonderful job right there. Stu Hainer, you saw the car, absolute straight line braking that was totally under control. I think he may have the car to challenge Boris.
Hainer should have won a couple of times probably earlier this year, was leading at Lime Rock with less than 5 to go. He ran a no fuel stop strategy there, and it paid off big. And then the motor let go. Today, though, the Revolution Chevrolet with Trenton Forging on the side, very strong. Still working, though, on Gentilozzi's 3 car as the laps wind down. We'll be back. Back in Miami on speed for the lead. Stu Hainer in the white Chevrolet gets inside Boris said as they come off turn 16 onto the front stretch, and Hainer is back out in front.
Unbelievable move. Stu Hainer past Boris exactly where Boris has been surprising people all day long, and I thought Boris would probably know that, would block it. He didn't. I don't think that he thought Stu could go that deep under braking.
12 laps to go, and Hayner with one career Trans Am win several seasons ago in Road America. Boris said with 5 of them this year and the points lead, he was powerless to hold Hayner off in turn 16. Here's another look.
Well, now here's Boris's favorite spot. Look at this. Boris goes over to take a good late apex, and suddenly Stu Hayner's Corvette slides up the inside and a clean pass.
Great move by the veteran from Yorba Linda, California.
Yeah, the crew is going wild. There's Don Sack there. He's going, yes.
So Hayner now opens up an 8-car late lead on the backstretch. Calvin Fish.
Well, there's a lot more to this story. Boris says crew went down to Stu Hayner. They said, if you catch us, we're going to let you through. And I tell you, when that team got on the radio to Stu Hayner, it's like saying, if you buy a lottery ticket, Stu, we'll give you $1 million. And he went for it.
Well, like a dog who hasn't eaten in a long time, he saw a sirloin steak on the highway and went after it and got it.
That's a smart move, if indeed it is true with the crew. If they're telling you the truth, I think it's very smart on Boris. Don't risk the championship. Settle for second, settle for third, whatever. Keep the points building up because your competitors are falling behind.
And we know from the top of the broadcast, this is not what Boris said is all about. He told us, I want to win races. The championship is for my team.
And I like that too. I mean, I like a football team that doesn't just sit on a little bit of a lead. You go for it. You have the killer instinct. I think it's so important with a driver that you really want to prove your point. And you're there to win races. You don't go to a race to come second. That's not satisfying.
So Stu Hayner is back out in front of the O2. A great drive for the veteran. Started 5th, got to the lead because he was the last leader to stop. We thought it was very risky strategy. If you've watched Trans Am competition these last couple of years, you know that generally when you stop late in the race, it doesn't pay at all. Hayner has made it pay here so far.
He has looked very impressive. Currently, he has the fastest lap time in the race. In fact, his quick lap in the race right now is almost 7/10 of a second faster than Boris said. So he really has had that car working very well. And right now, he is pulling away from Boris by over a second a lap. Impressive performance.
Down the front straightaway, riding with Boris. In car number 33, the series point leader, started on the pole, led the first couple of dozen laps here today. But he's now 2.4 seconds behind Hayner.
Yeah, the next thing is that he is only a little over a second in front of Justin Bell. So Justin is right there ready to pounce, and then Randy Ruhlman is a little further back.
10 laps to go, 10 to go as they took their last pass by the start-finish line. There's Bell in the 40, running third. Ruhlman is 4th, Leitzinger 5th, Tony Ave is 6th in the other payloads. Johnny Miller, who lost a lap and then got caught in that big scramble on the backside that took out Gentilozzi and Mike Lewis. He just escaped. I'm sure there are some scuff marks on the 64. But Lewis, after having stopped earlier with a belt, a drive belt off that car, he's back to 7th, a lap down. John Levy, in his return to competition after nearly 2 years away, he's 8th. Simon Gregg is 10th behind Mike Davis, Boris' team owner, who runs 9th, and Tommy Dreese, who spun a couple of times, he's 11th. So very interesting the way the field stacks up here in the last few laps at Miami. Bell in the 40 up onto the front stretch.
Still coming out there. He is still being shown 1.3 seconds behind Boris. So that gap is staying pretty consistent. It's Boris and Justin are both running almost the same lap times. A 1:13.7, quite a bit slower than qualifying.
Boris is second there in the purple Panos. Corvette, the 40 car of Justin Bell is third. Now, we've talked a lot about the Drivers' Championship battle with Boris trying to hold off Butch Leitzinger, Paul Gentilozzi in these last couple of races, win his first ever Trans Am Championship, and join luminaries like Tommy Kendall and Mark Donohue and Paul Gentilozzi as series driving champions. But the manufacturers' point standings are nearly as important. All the manufacturers involved in the series certainly want the bragging rights of being the champions. Panos by just 4 over Chevrolet. Being told that if Chevrolet does finish first and third here today, they can close that gap significantly on Panos with just 2 races remaining in 2002. So that's a battle that I'm sure will go down to the season finale in Virginia International at the end of October. Coming close to the checkered flag, Stu Hayner could be in line for his second career win. We'll find out when we come back. His first Kart FedEx Series Championship earlier today. Trans Am action, of course, the American Le Mans Series yesterday, where Corvettes ran 1-2 in the GTS category. So if Stu Hader can continue here, certainly a great weekend for the Chevrolet Corvette brand here on the streets of Miami. Hader has opened up a 2.5-second lead over Boris Said, who is just, I think, Bill, going to be happy to take second spot, pick up the points, head next week to Road Atlanta in great shape, looking to his first driver's championship.
Well, I think it's a smart thing to do, because rather than try and fight the battle, he's looking at winning the war. So that is really smart. As much as Boris may not want to do it, he almost looks like he's kind of holding position, just driving hard enough to stay ahead of Justin, but not to challenge Stu.
Third spot belonging to Durhag Chevrolet there. That's the 40. Justin Bell back this week and running nicely. 13th on the grid, the third spot at the moment as Boris Said comes off the final corner. What about Paul Gentilozzi? He is back on the racetrack. Paul had started to take his suit off, had the helmet off. He was obviously disgusted with what happened about 10 laps ago. Jan Geekens on the backside, but his crew said, no, I guess we're going to get this thing ready.
Well, the reason that they did that, and you can see it's not really a race-worthy car, they did that because if they can complete just one lap before the finish, they'll pick up a position on Michael Lewis, and they will gain some more championship points. So, you know, it's unlikely, but it's not over until it's over. Mathematically, it's still alive.
Now we got a glimpse there of Gentilozzi as the leader. Hader laps by Simon Gregg's car, which was damaged earlier. Gentilozzi's Rocket Sports 3 car, the Blue Jaguar, minus its hood. He did put the front bumper cover back in place, but you could see when he was stopped on pit road earlier when we talked to Paul and how angry he was with what had happened. He had bent a lot of parts on the front end of that race car. The Rocket Sports bunch doing a great job, I think, to get that car back out.
And you see how nice Paul's being. Look at him pulling way out of the way. Does not want to interfere with traffic at all. He realizes that he's not in this race to do anything other than try and get those points. And that's his goal. So heads up driving, Paul.
There's the car of Stu Hader, the race leader in the O2, up onto the front straightaway.
It's all too easy at this point in a race when you get a car back in and it's damaged. You want to try and get out and show people, yeah, I'm still good. I can do this. And Paul obviously isn't set into that ego mentality. He's really watching the mirrors and doing the right thing.
Now, here's an interesting situation. That first car you see, the first purple and yellow car, is the ACS Ford of the team owner, Mike Davis. It's the 11 car. Right behind him is the series points leader, Boris Said. Davis will move over and say, go ahead, Boris. You're on your way to a championship. We'll let you get by without any problem at all. He puts Davis a lap down. Davis has done a nice job here today. He's running 9th in that 11 car. Good run for him. And there is Hader continuing to lead in the Trent Forging 02 car. Team owner is Don Sack out of Michigan for many years. Campaigned an independent effort in the series of each of Oldsmobile Cups that we saw so many times over the years. And talk about being in the penthouse and the outhouse at the same time. Sack was the first car out today in the team car to be 02. Instead, he ran one lap and went to pit road. With Calvin Fish, Don Sack, I'm sure, is a very happy man right now.
Yeah, he really is, and this will be the first win for this team if they can pull it off. A Revolution Motorsports team came together. Don has been cheering his car with his young son Bobby. But I really questioned that strategy call earlier, but Stu had an awfully quick race car this afternoon. Another first for this team if they can pull it off. They just switched to the Huffaker engine, so it certainly gave them the horsepower this afternoon.
Taking the white flag last time by, so Hader, and he's got a problem. No. They broke apart on the front end of the O2. Hader hit the brakes and something broke on the right front corner of that Chevrolet.
Oh my gosh.
Boris Said is right behind Hader. Hader may have lost the race.
Hader's trying to get around the track, but it looks like the spindle is broken on the right front wheel. He can hardly control the car. He is holding up Boris, but it can't continue.
Boris gets by. Oh no, Hader is going to lose this one. On the last lap, he squeezed the brakes and the car broke.
Justin Bell is going by. Justin will take second. Boris is going to win this race. What a gift, the 11th hour curse.
Unbelievable, and Hader isn't even going to be able to finish. He's going to have to stop on the backside.
I think he went straight through there. He couldn't even turn the car at that point.
He grabbed the brakes. I believe that was turn 2 or 3. The crew cannot believe what they're hearing on the radio. And you can see it, Billy. Got on the brakes. We saw smoke, and the wheel just turned to the right.
Absolutely. That's like something out of Hollywood. You say it can't possibly happen.
Here comes Boris Said to the line. He'll take the checkered flag and score his 6th win of the season. Mechanical failure on the O2 car. I'm sure the fans can't believe it. Neither can the crews. I'm sure Boris Said never expected to win one like that. Boris is the winner. The pole sitter wins, but it was hardly a situation where he would lead all the way. In fact, he takes the lead with just a couple of turns to go as Stu Hayner's horrible luck continues. We'll come back and talk to the winner in a moment. Our Speed Channel coverage of the Grand Prix America's Trans Am Series being brought to you today by AmeriSuites, the preferred hotel of the Trans Am Series. An exciting afternoon on the streets of Miami. Boris said the surprise winner of the 10th race of the season, stealing the win when Stu Hayner had problems with a big lead. Second to Justin Bell, third to Randy Ruhlman. Boris, with his 6th victory of the year at Calvin Fish, takes a giant step to the title.
Well, as Boris said, once again, that was a wild one, Boris. 6th win of the year, really got a firm grip on that championship now with Gentilozzi and Butch both struggling today.
Yeah, I mean, those guys had problems and we didn't. You know, it's too bad for Stu. He deserved this race today. He was faster. I let him by because it was a big point today to finish second. But, you know, this makes up for Three Rivers when we lost that one with the mechanical. But my whole Applied Computer Solutions team, Sun Microsystems, Ironclad, all my friends at Redline Oil, they've been helping me out since they've been working on my car in the mud at Road Atlanta like 35,000 years ago. You know, a lot of friends at No Fear. We're opening stores everywhere. Go to one, buy something. Spy. Feels great. We definitely, this championship's ours now.
All right, Boris, great job today, mate. They really sort of rolled the dice there with that pit strategy. They had to wait. They couldn't get the fuel in. He stopped late and really charged back through the field, Rick.
Certainly did a great job. The team played the strategy perfectly. They were content to finish in second spot today. If it hadn't been for the Stu Hayner difficulties, here's Hayner hitting the brakes. Now he's got the lead. This is the last lap of the race. Heading toward turn 5, something broke on the right front corner of the car. He thought, I think, about trying to hold up Boris for the rest of the lap, realized he couldn't do it, moved out of the way and let Boris go by to victory. Hayner didn't even get all the way around cleanly, although he did finish the race, John Beekes.
He's climbing out of the car. It's hard to put into words. What broke on the car?
Well, I'm not sure. You know, the Trend Forging Corvette was definitely the best car all weekend. All race, anyway. And just going into the skating rink, something broke. And wouldn't stop, and I almost hit the tire wall. And anyway, I barely made it around the corner and hobbled around and just saw my win passing in front of me. But, you know, we'll get them next time. It's a great crew, a great car. Revolution Motorsports is obviously put me in the best position to win a race. We just got to finish them up, you know?
Well, you did still finish 4th because you got the car back to the pits. I'm looking, I don't see any damage on the car, so it wasn't from any contact on the racetrack.
No, we didn't hit anything. We didn't run over anything. We didn't do anything. It was just probably a part failure that happens, you know?
Wow, tough day.
Stu Hayner in line for what would have been his second career victory in the Trans Am Series. Instead, he finishes 4th. Johnny Miller comes home 7th after losing a lap. John Levy returns to the series and scores 8th. Richard LaBarbera and Don Sack round out the 22-car field. 2 races remain in the 2002 season, Bill Adam. The points chase, Boris said, took a big step forward today with this victory. His lead now 57 over Paul Gentilozzi. Leitzinger still with a shot, 63 back. Johnny Miller and Hayner the top 5. Then Ruhlman, Abe, and Mike Lewis the rest of the top 8. 2 races remain at Road Atlanta and then at the end of October from Virginia International Raceway. We'll have coverage of the final 2 rounds of the Trans Am Championship right here on Speed. All the motorsports news you need available 24/7 at our website. Check us out at www.speedtv.com. A disappointing day for several key drivers, including former champion Paul Gentilozzi, but it's been a great weekend as professional road racing returns to the streets of Miami. For Bill Adam, Jan Beekes, and Calvin Fish, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner today, Boris Said. We'll talk to you next time on Speed.
So am I going to get